Also want to thank colleagues on the other side who have called, who have guided, who have supported me. I won't call your names because I don't want to get you in trouble. But I have colleagues on the other side who are very supportive of my role as Minister of Works. I want to acknowledge my permanent secretary, Arlene Williams, and her amazing team at the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. I will not call names of the team because there are so many of them who have supported me that I don't want to miss any. I want to also thank my co-workers, I want to call them, from the National Works Agency. I see Mr. Downer here representing the team from the agency. Very helpful team. I'm taking a while with the thank yous because it's very important, Madam Speaker. I want to thank my team from Clarendon North Central who are here with me today. My office team is here. So too, my team from Moko, I see Councillor MacDonald, who is joined the team, as well as Harry White. Also, my staff is here from Kingston and from Chapelton. I see even my office attendant, I asked her to come to be a part. But importantly, Madam Speaker, I want to thank the students from Lennon who are here. And I know that the students from Clarendon College are outside on their way in. A very important point.
Program, but for now we are going to be talking to the Advocates Association because they also have weighed.
Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth our fruit in our season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. Share up the link. Share it up. Welcome to Caribbean Radio HD. Good evening, everybody. Call everybody. Let them know we're on. This evening cannot be missed. The news cycle over the weekend into yesterday, into today has been crazy. And hey, we're going to be bringing you up to date on all that has been happening. So call up some people. Make us start with the Dennis Chung issue. At about 4:30, 5:30 in the US, we are going to be joined by Raymond Price to talk about the FID and governance in Jamaica. Stay with us right here, the Colin Bell Show on Portland Spice and the Caribbean Radio.
In on this issue of Mr. Chung's appointment, they're saying the entire situation suggests that Jamaica is in a governance crisis. Founding director of the Institute of Law and Economics and a member of the Advocacy Network, Professor Roselia Hamilton, is with us. Appreciate you talking to us, Professor.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you. So, governance crisis, that sounds strong. Why using those terms?
Yes, I think it's time for us to come to grips with what is causing all of this. I mean, I think there's a lot of focus here on Dennis Chung. I think if we look closely at the matter, no matter who is becomes the new chief technical director of the FID, we have a situation where we're investigating financial issues surrounding our prime minister. For the first time in our history, we have a situation where not only is there questions about the certification of the prime minister for 4 years, going on 4 years, but also there are 8 parliamentarians who's currently being investigated and questions being asked about illicit enrichment. And we're going to a national election. We've never seen this in our history. And we see this as a defining moment so that We urge the public not to simply look at this issue in isolation and get caught up in what we see are just stones being thrown on either side with respect to Dennis Chung's qualifications and so on and so on. Those are issues that I think transparency can resolve. It is a matter of grave concern to the country, and I think it's fair to say, be transparent. Let's be confident that this process was credible. Having said that, there's a deeper issue that the country should be aware of.
And what do you want to see done in relation to those deeper concerns you're raising?
I think there are two things. We are troubled by the trend in voting over the years. We want to encourage Jamaicans to go out and vote. I think it's too simple to say that you don't see what to vote for. You talk to Jamaicans and you hear that all the time. Boy, we don't see no difference either side, right? But I think we have to be very thoughtful about where we're going. We're at a point where our government has said they want to do the most meaningful and comprehensive constitutional reform. This is a great opportunity for us to look at these issues that have persisted for far too long. And it is now being played out. I was struck by the fact that as members of the Advocate Network, we protested in the very same place that the protest is taking place today in response to unconscionable salary increases that we saw. And that the opposition is doing the same thing and is for the same reasons. There are no adequate mechanisms for the people's voices to be heard. These issues ought not to be taken to the street. There ought to be hearings in Parliament where all of us could have an opportunity, who want an opportunity to have a say on these very weighty issues that face our nation. And we should do it in a very responsible and orderly way. So we ought not to be demonstrating on all of these issues. We've had to because there's no adequate mechanism. And I think the PMP owes it to the country to say, what are those mechanisms you will put in place if you take power? So I think these are the kinds of issues that touch and concern our Constitution, and that every single Jamaican needs to get involved, is thoughtful about what is happening in this moment, and fix these governance issues once and for all. Having said what I just said, there's no perfect panacea to solve all these problems. After 250 years, we're seeing America going through their own governance crisis. But we still have to go after an ideal. We have to try to improve what we currently have. And I think a thoughtful approach to the Constitution that we've inherited since our independence can get us to a better place.
One of the concerns you raise is the long-held concern about the overarching and what has been called the awesome power of the Prime Minister. And obviously, listeners, we're not talking here about Dr. Holness, but anyone who holds that particular position. But is there not a line there between, especially when you're involving, for instance, you speak of the House of Representatives. Let me go back to the sentence I'm referring to. I beg your pardon. You said under the Financial Investigations Division Act, the reports of even the most suitable chief technical director go to the finance minister, as well as the House of Representatives and the Senate, which are all under the control of the PM. Effectively, by constitutional design, the PM, you say, will have final say over his own investigation.
Yes, because in the final analysis, if we look carefully at the wording of our Section 69, subsection 2 of the Constitution, the Cabinet is the principal instrument of policy and is charged with the general direction and control of the government of Jamaica. That's what the Constitution says. And it speaks about shall be collectively responsible to Parliament, but what exactly does that mean? Our best reading of that is that Parliament must provide the kind of oversight of executive action in order for accountability and responsible government to take place. In the absence of that oversight, then prime ministerial and cabinet decision is unfettered. And so we can wait until it gets much worse, or we can use the opportunity we now have in this constitutional reform process to think about the kinds of changes that we need, including the size of the cabinet, including we think of our Senate, and a range of other things like petitions and hearings and so on that will give us a voice. There are many issues that are on the table, and we have to look at them, discuss them. And I urge Jamaicans, I think the press release from the Advocates Network urges Jamaicans to be thoughtful about the moment and to ensure that we don't get to this place again where we have a Prime Minister actually potentially breaking 3 laws according to the Integrity Commission, the Corruption Prevention Act, the Parliamentary Integrity of Members Act, and the Integrity of Commissions Act. Now we have a Prime Minister and our parliamentarians there to uphold our Constitution and to uphold our laws. Our lawmakers can't be.
So I'm so sorry. I just want to be clear because I was listening to you. You're not, for the avoidance of all doubt, suggesting that there is any such conclusion, correct?
Absolutely not. I'm saying that issue is going to the FID in order for that's my understanding, in order for the Integrity Commission to finalize its report. And so these are the claims of the Integrity Commission with respect to potential breaches. And those are serious issues. That's why we call it a governance crisis. These are not trivial issues. This is the person who leads our government.
At the same time, though, there's always a concern about creating entities that are not ultimately responsible to the electorate through our elected representatives.
Absolutely. And that's why the reports going to Parliament is important, because it is there our elected representatives can have a say. But if our if the voice of our elected representatives are trumped by, are dominated by, controlled by the ruling party and the Prime Minister and cabinet decisions, you see the numbers of cabinet ministers.
So that was Deon Jackson Miller talking to Rosalie Hamilton, Professor Rosalie Hamilton of Jamaica Advocate Network. And they have also weighed in on the fact that Mr. Dennis Chung is now the head of the Financial Investigative Division right here in Jamaica. We saw Monday morning where the People's National Party led a protest at Euro Circle. Yes? Euro Circle. Across from the Ministry of Finance. And they were saying that they were out there against corruption. Welcome to everyone. Arlene, good evening. Good evening, Christine. BCA, Yvonne Riley, bless up. Megawatt Volt in the building. Zenith, Beckford, Jeff Clive. 25,000 new voters added to the voters list. We haven't heard the calling of election yet, Starboy. Marjorie Goldburn, Florence Brown. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. I want to warn you before I get into this that you should never bite the hands that feed you. Very well. So, government crisis, governance crisis. Is Jamaica in a crisis? Governance crisis. It is the first time in our history that we have had a Prime Minister, Nicky Boo, under investigation for illicit action. And you see that word illicit? We need to understand it and get a proper grasp of the word. First and foremost, Jamrock, Denzel, we need to understand the word illicit. Illegal, unlawful, not acceptable. Action. You want to know illicit enrichment, illicit drugs, illicit behavior. Because a lot of people have been missing one of the things that Professor Hamilton spoke about a while ago. And we're taking it very simple. That for 4 years, it's not quite 4 yet, but 3 gone already, and we are actually at the 4th now. The Prime Minister's statutory filing has not been certified. And I also want to remind you, and I want to call the GLP trolls them. I want them this evening because I have some questions that I'd love to get answers for. Some pertinent questions that I would love to get answers for. And anybody see Marlon Morgan? Brother Lee Craft Palmer, good evening. Anybody see Marlon Morgan, Andrew Holness, Adka Fitzhenley? Any one of them? We want to know why the job description was altered in November 2024 when they advertised the position of technical director for the FID. You needed to have 12 years experience in law enforcement and 5 years at a senior position in law enforcement. That was changed in the January advertisement to read 12 years experience in managerial position. So they took out the whole aspect of law enforcement. And in comes Dennis Chung. So that's one problem. And the next problem that we are having is that it leaves us to speculate that Dennis Brown was chosen because he would favor the Prime Minister in an investigation that the FID will do on the Prime Minister. Yes, I heard Nadine Spence this morning, and she said she can't understand why we have a problem with the integrity committee, with the appointment of Dennis Chung. But Nadine and Dennis is basically in the same place. Dennis Chung, not Brown. Colin. I said Dennis Brown? Well, maybe the Crown Prince is on my mind. But yes, you know what I'm talking about. Well, I must have said it. The amount of people. Dennis Chung we're talking about. Dennis Chung and Nadine Spence are of the same kind, I think. Because they couldn't give Nadine Spence a job either. You know, I want to simplify the thing because it's like you sending me or Peter Bunting to investigate Mark Golding. That's what it is, you know. So the labor rights won't see it because they don't want to see it. Carlton Robinson. You sure about that? I don't remember. I try to remember if I did it. I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't remember. Allegations are done to fit the ever-changing, the alteration, sorry, yeah. Yeah, man. So they alter the thing. And I want Marlon Morgan to come tell me why. And if you can't answer that question, Marlon, I think you need to shut up. Because one of the things I realize with the GLP and this issue they are running out defending the issue. And when certain questions come, them tell you, say, them can't answer that. You must ask the Services Commission. Ask the Services Commission. Now, we have a few clips that we want to play. We have a few clips that we want to play for you, so you can understand what is happening.
I hear that they are going to have protests for manufactured rage and crises that don't exist. Bruh. Well, I want every Labourite to protest against this hypocrisy tomorrow. I want every Labourite, wherever you are, to protest in your workplace, to protest in the market, to protest wherever you are at the bad mindism of the PNP that is trying to bring down the progress of the people. Stand up, Labourites. Stand up for justice. Stand up for truth. Stand up against the PNP.
No, that for me was dangerous. Very dangerous. In our Constitution, it gives us a right to protest. And the PNP has written to the political ombudsman because they are of the opinion that the Prime Minister has breached the political code of conduct. You can't have one side say them out demonstrate, because it had to be made known enough that them out demonstrate, that you don't have two sets of demonstrators out there, that you don't have confrontation. And Prime Minister of Jamaica, in his desperation, is setting up a confrontation. People, Caribbean Radio, I don't know if you don't realize what just go on a while ago. Nicky Boo said, what can go so them a dictator? Yes, it have every sign and trait of a dictator. So let me just explain it to those who are just joining. Dennis Chung, somebody who we are confident have the Prime Minister's back, was named to an agency that is scheduled to investigate the Prime Minister. And in further clips, you will hear Dennis Chung making his comments on what he thought about the report that was submitted to the FID for further investigation. So Dennis Chung was put in the position. The opposition, and you have civil society group, you have JAMP came out against it, the NIA, and we had Daniel Archer Saturday morning. I did an interview with her Saturday morning from the National Integrity Action. They came out against the appointment. And the PNP said that they were going to protest Monday morning. And this is what the Prime Minister of Jamaica did. This is what the Prime Minister did.
I hear that they are going to have protests.
Hold on, this was in a meeting, in a public meeting in Montego Bay. Pull it back from the top.
I hear that they are going to have protests for manufactured rage and crises that don't exist. Bruh. Well, I want every Labourite to protest against this hypocrisy tomorrow. I want every laborite, wherever you are, to protest in your workplace, to protest in the market, to protest wherever you are at the bad mindism of the PNP that is trying to bring down the progress of the people. Stand up, laborites. Stand up for justice. Stand up for truth. Stand up against the PNP.
What can go so? The Prime Minister basically calling out his supporters to confront the PNP supporters. Nothing can go so. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Caribbean Radio, the Colin Bell Show.
Okay, Mr. Bell. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, man. Welcome.
Yeah, let me first say, it's first time on your show. I've known you from a long time. I went to Case.
Okay.
Remember, I was going to Case. You used to come on Portland Splash as the MC with Louis Culture.
Long
over
time.
by Old Fall.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Mr. Bell, the problem I have with the whole of this is when a person from academia, as Nadine Spence, is going to talk rubbish. Listen to me. Nobody's perfect in life.
Nobody.
But when you have a prime minister who for 3 years can't be certified, Mr. Dennis Chung has no training in investigating at a security level. He's just an accountant.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm going to tell you this, and
he's not just an accountant. He's a chartered accountant. So he's at the top of the pile of accountants. You don't want to say.
But the thing about it, how can you be a chartered accountant and you have no critical thinking when you say to the Prime Minister, I cannot take this job because I'm not trained for it?
Well, me or a man come on this program. I'm trying to remember if it was Saturday morning. And him call a certain man craving a. So when people are craving, they will take up all what they can manage, you know.
Mr. Bell, I went to Case and I taught for 2 years. Then I went to Cuba. I did a degree in agronomy. I could not take up a job as FID because I know nothing about investigating at the criminal level when it comes to money laundering and corruption. Exactly. I stay in my lane.
It's a specialized job, you know.
Of course, you have to dig what we call critical thinking and say, and find trends and say how the person come by the money. You have to show evidence.
And you have to have some experience. You can't just start at the top. Where is the experience in investigating fraud and money laundering?
Mr. Bell, last year, August, I left Jamaica. I'm now in Canada. I just finished, I have a degree, I just did a diploma in agriculture in Canada. And I tell you, I don't know nothing about agriculture. When I came to Canada, I learned. Canada is advanced. Jamaica agriculture in 1940. These people I use sensors, I do everything. I heard you talk about one's health in Canada. My wife got sick in December.
Yeah.
And the ambulance came to the house here in AG and Calgary. That is 25 minutes away. And on the wall of the hospital, there was gloves of every size.
Yeah, man.
She did an operation in a 2 days. And we are temporary residency here. We don't get permanent seat, and she did not pay 10 cents, and she was in the hospital for 14 days, and she not pay 10 cents.
Yes, sir.
So when you have a country like Jamaica, we have resources, and we have some people are dipping at the kitty, dip and eat, and now you are going to take up your friend and say if you can defend you. No, Mr. Bellman, we can't continue like this.
It's ugly, man. It's ugly.
What are we going to tell our children?
It's ugly. And that one, a beer face. The man a behave like them broke
beer face. I want to have a person like Nadine Spence who says she a teacher, Yui, and I go talk about the PNP behind our spool. They tell me having when people in academia was supposed
but it just shows up Nadine politics. She had to say that, because you see, these things that they are doing are coming out to show people that, listen, Nadine was not being independent. She was being political.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. If you cut me, you get orange blood. And I will say in the 18 years, the PNP made mistakes. We made mistake in Operation Pride. Some corruption was there. I'm not naive. I'm not that naive. Remember, say Costa Rica take PJ Patterson Operation Pride. And when they got Costa Rica, one part of San Jose, they turn it into a whole green space, a copy of Operation Pride. The people don't understand me here. Some people are talking. Call Marlon Maga. Don't call Marlon Maga name. Because them youth they now think as people saying you at a critical level. Mr. Bell, when you're wrong, you're wrong.
Let me say something to you about Operation Pride, because I participated in an Operation Pride scheme. And
of course, me know Upper and Norwich.
And let me tell you something that a lot of people never know. The people who bought the lands in Norwich Heights got the land dirt cheap. 200,000, 100,000, 300,000, a 500,000 lot of land up on Norwich Heights would have been a massive lot of land. Yeah? Also, one of the things that happened when the infrastructures were being put in, they gave the people an option. Make we do the road properly, asphalt it and do it properly, and charge you more for the land. Or we put on gravel and tar and charge you less. The people say that give them the gravel and tar and charge them less. Yeah? So that causes the road to deteriorate rapidly. Because when I built at Norwich Heights, every road up there was paved with gravel and tar. Everyone. But a lot of people don't know that. So some of the things with Operation Pride, some of the lands might have been sold too cheap.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. So much because I went to case when I used to do pasture. We used to go up near to Norwich Heights. They must say Norwich Heights, look and see the whole beachfront.
Yeah, man, up the nice, man. But never run now because I have an interview line up with Raymond. No,
man. Do your thing, man. And keep up the fire. Keep up the fire. Me love what you do.
All right, my brother. Enough respect. One love.
Guidance. Yeah,
man. Let me. Sorry about that, Devon. Let me take this interview. Let me take this.
Strongest terms. The reckless, inflammatory statements made.
Where is the Crown Report?
That's not the one I want. All right, let's do this one. Let's play this one.
Well, what pussy face?
Hold on. Let's play this one. I want to play another clip for you before we go any further, because I have a portion of clips that I've lined up for you.
Several weeks ago that have now come to make sense in a different way. I won't call the name of the individual, but you don't have to be.
No, I don't want to play that one yet either. Don't want to play that one yet. Just that the machine kind of moves slow. Don't know why this machine moves so slow this evening. Let me get it working. I just want to get one more clip before we go to Raymond Price. Let me see if I can play this one. All right.
I find somebody that run up and down so the leader says it's just an accountant. I don't disrespect to say man it's just an accountant. Me a doctor, other people are doctor, but I can't get up and go do what one neurosurgeon supposed to do. Not because they call me a doctor. Because that is not my training, this man me being a doctor. So me being an accountant, no means they can't get anywhere. No. We then realized that they took out the requirement that you have to have 12 years experience in law enforcement and 5 years in senior police senior leadership. If you have that, so they take out that so they could get the job. Man, they good with us. Come on. You know, say that is bad, but I worse father. You know, say get worse. Lord God Almighty, it get worse. It get worse. We are no reliable info. Yes. That somebody, a super SSP, what is it? Super senior super intelligence. Yes. SSP. Yes. An SSP that worked there before. Apply for the job and they never give it.
All right, so that was Dayton Campbell, Sunday night, I think down there in St. Elizabeth, talking about the same issue. We have Comrade Raymond Price. Comrade Price, good evening. Comrade Price?
Yes.
Good evening. Welcome to Caribbean Radio HD and the Portland Spice TV. We are on about 7 different radio stations over there in the United States, Comrade Price. We want to talk to you about governance in Jamaica and this issue with Dennis Chung being appointed head of the Financial Investigation Division here in Jamaica, an organization set up to investigate financial crime, fraud, money laundering, all of those kind of things, you name it. First, give us your views on the whole thing, how you see it.
Well, let's start with a comment about the governance situation in Jamaica. And what we have is a history, a pattern, I should say. A pattern where, since Andrew Holness has become Prime Minister, whenever there are main appointments to be made, he displays a certain tendency, even when the rules have been long established. So, for example, when the appointments came, or the time came for the appointment of a new Chief Justice, many people might recall where Andrew Holness had come out in the media and said that he was going to allow the appointment of the current Chief Justice for a period of time as acting Chief Justice. Now, to me, that was the clearest example of the extent that he's willing to go, because there are famously described 3 arms of government. The executive, which is headed by the cabinet, and the Prime Minister heads the cabinet. Then the legislative, which in our situation is the party that forms the government, leads the parliament. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you have the third arm of government, the judiciary. And the judiciary has always been protected from the political or the political class, from partisanship, by having long established traditions and protocols as to how judges and jurors, and in this case, the Chief Justice is appointed. Mm-hmm. So Andrew Holness attempted to insert himself in that process, even though the Constitution does not speak to a probation period or an acting period for the Chief Justice. He wanted to institute that. So that's where it started with Holness. A previous JLP leader, Bruce Colin, with the appointment of the Solicitor General, had also attempted to intervene himself with the appointment of Stephen Papiani. Mm-hmm. So we fast forward now to this situation.
Yeah.
The Financial Investigations Division is a law enforcement arm of the financial sector. While they themselves cannot issue a warrant for somebody's arrest, mm-hmm. the forensic investigations that they are required to carry out has a significant role in law enforcement. I've heard some people in media refer to it as a regulatory agency. It's not a regulatory agency, and it's not an executive agency. Mm-hmm. It's a unique executive agency in the sense of what its mandate requires it to do.
Right.
There is also a requirement in the job description, the original job description,
Yes.
that the holder of the office of Chief Technical Director must have a specified amount of time in law enforcement.
12 years minimum.
Right. No, and it's not 12 years if you're a constable, because I'm sure that a constable of 12 years vintage would not be able to apply for and get that job.
It also said 5 years in a senior management position.
Well, in the current case, if a district constable of 12 years vintage had applied for the job, they would have been more qualified for the job than Dennis Strong in terms of meeting that criterion, right? You might even want to stretch it and say that if a member of the Department of Corrections with 12 years had applied, they would have been more qualified.
Yes.
Because they would have worked in a law enforcement adjacent agency.
But Raymond, remember that was removed in January, so that is no longer a part of the requirements.
Which goes to the case of the first part of the question you asked in terms of discuss or describe governance in Jamaica.
Yes.
So it's not even governance in Jamaica as it is governance Andrew Holness style. Because what it shows is a willingness to change an institution to suit an individual, so that instead of applying for the job applies for you.
Hallelujah. Instead of applying for the job applies for you.
Right. The other thing about this situation, which I want your listeners and viewers to appreciate, under the Constitution, the person who owns the office of Director of Public Prosecution has some awesome powers.
Yes.
A Director of Public Prosecution can go into any court in Jamaica and insert him or herself in a criminal matter and bring the case to an end, even if the case is part heard.
Yes.
Without any further interrogation by either prosecution, defense, or the judge, the Director of Public Prosecution can determine which case must go for prosecution and which prosecution can be ended.
Yeah.
The Chief Technical Director at the Financial Investigation Division sort of similar to the DPP in the sense that the Chief Technical Director can determine which case must be investigated and which case must be thrown out.
Okay.
Now, a couple months ago, when the Integrity Commission referred to the Financial Investigation Division matters to do with the Prime Minister's accounts and the inability for the Integrity Commission to certify the Prime Minister's declaration.
Yes.
Dennis Strong was one of the persons in the public domain that was called upon to give commentary.
Mm-hmm.
And he famously said, well, shockingly, that 28 accounts is neither here nor there, and that there was no real issue from where he was standing at the time, which was outside of the Financial Investigation Division. He actually poured cold water on the Integrity Commission, and the discussion that his comments caused suggested that the Integrity Commission was being wasteful. That's before he got the job. Know that the job got him, because if you change the requirements to suit him, he still has not gotten the job, but the job has surely gotten him.
Mm-hmm.
What can Jamaicans expect of the referral to the Financial Investigation Division of the case by the Integrity Commission involving the Prime Minister? Mr. Chung has already made it public. Nothing to see here. So he has been placed in a capacity that gives his commentary some amount of authority to end or otherwise prevent or otherwise cause an investigation to be improperly done, so that the Integrity Commission referral would amount to nothing. In other words, the English language calls it a self-fulfilling prophecy. So he spoke of his opinion prior to the job finding him. His opinion found favor with the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister, through Cabinet, made the necessary changes so that the job could find Dennis Strong. The problem with that, because a lot of Jamaicans believe in gay brethren apply, but the problem with this brethren getting that apply is that the Financial Investigation Division does not only investigate crimes that begin and terminate in Jamaica.
True.
It's a law enforcement agency, as I said before, with unique mandates that will see them interacting with other similar entities in other jurisdictions.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Now, if the international community has seen where Cabinet, the executive arm of government, has changed the requirement of this job to suit an individual, then how can those agencies abroad find any confidence or competence in the institution now headed by Dennis Strong for them to share critical information?
But Raymond, if people doubt what you are saying, a couple months ago, it was the State Department of the United States why we knew that the FID was underfunded, understaffed, and didn't have a technical director for some time now.
Well, they still don't, in my opinion, have a technical director, because the chief technical director must fill certain basic criteria. And it is now famously and publicly known that this person, Dennis Strong, does not meet the criteria, the established criteria. Let me tell you, I am a scientist. I know that if two hydrogen atoms combined with one oxygen atom, you get the water molecule. Let us call the Financial Investigation Division the hydrogen, the chief technical director the oxygen,
right,
and the intention of bringing the two together to make water.
Right.
In this situation, no water now makes because the oxygen is absent. Either it's only one atom or is no atom at all. So all the mix you mix, you ain't gonna get water.
So why is the...
What surprises me though, personally, I first met Dennis Strong when I was on the Breakfast Club. And he would often be the person that comes on to the program to give what we thought was unbiased public commentary.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Strong has even appeared in interviews to speak about people's unsuitability to hold public office.
Okay.
And now he is the face of the least suitable person to hold a most important public office. So this is what the French would call a denouement, or what in the Jamaican parlance, it has to come down now. It might do too much.
The government, Dennis, Raymond, is
Yes.
out there defending this appointment. However,
no, the government is not defending the appointment. The Jamaica Labour Party is defending the appointment.
Well, but they are the ones who are running the government.
Well, they lead the executive branch of government.
Fair enough. Because we are all a part of the government.
We are all a part of the government.
Yes.
And the People's National Party has hinted that their law, through the General Secretary, that the lawyers are reviewing whether or not this is also an opportunity for the judicial branch of government, which is the final arbiter, to indicate whether this executive, the wholeness administration, has fallen foul of the law and the Constitution yet again.
But all right. So let's look at, as I said, I wanted to look at governance. Let's look at some of the governance issue because I heard Professor Rosalie Hamilton speaking today, and she was saying that Jamaica having a governance crisis. And one of the reasons for this crisis is that for the first time in our history, we have a prime minister who is under investigation for illicit activity. And I specifically say illicit activity because you have a whole heap of Jamaicans, when they say illicit enrichment, it sounds good to them because it's rich. So I am changing that and calling it illicit activity. A prime minister for the first time in our history under investigation. What kind of governance issue does that bring, Raymond?
Well, we are all Jamaican. I think your listeners might be either from the Jamaican diaspora or closely connected.
Yes.
So we know the expression that if the river mouth polluted, then the whole river polluted.
Right. If the head of the river, if the head of the stream is dirty.
Yeah. And there's another Jamaican expression, the fish spoiled from the head.
All the time.
The head of government is problematic. Then the entire government is problematic. And when I say government, I mean the executive branch of government. And be very deliberate in identifying that it is the executive branch of government that has gone bad. And there are some other things that people need to understand, when you talk about connected dots, it's a very important, time-consuming activity that we must do. A few months ago, the Minister of Constitutional and Legal Affairs in Garden House had a conversation providing information, answers to questions that were not asked.
Yes.
She is the first member of the executive branch of government to suggest that there could be a consideration to extend the life of the government beyond the expiration of the parliament on the constitutional provisions which are normally used in countries while they are at war. We are at war fighting a common foreign enemy. Therefore, we can delay the holding of elections because all of us are involved in the war fighting a common foreign enemy.
Right.
That situation won't apply. I can promise you the JDF is not going to attempt to recapture Cayman and bring back into existence a nation known as Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. So no war now come. What Mrs. Malahoo Ford did was to fly a kite.
Oh, yeah.
To do that in a way then to test the water to see how people would have responded. Right? Today's Gleaner editorial sums it up good, but not totally. The issue with the Dennis Strong saga, the Dennis Strong scandal, because this is scandalous.
Yes.
And he is the subject of the scandal. So if you use the phrase something stinks in Denmark, that stink is coming from Dennis Strong. If he had any professional, personal, or patriotic integrity, he would have done what Rocky Me did some time ago, which is to audit himself and say, based on what ought to be, this job, though it is looking for me, should not find me. So I'm going to step out of the way of the job.
Take away myself.
Take away myself. So this is the situation. It's not a one moment. It's a sequence. It's a pattern. It's a habit of the Homeless Administration to push the limits in the hope that people won't realize. And that even when people realize, to go to the court to think as if the court is going to ignore the law. Remember, Comrade Mark Golding has said it publicly on many occasions. The draft of the Integrity Commission legislation started while he was the Minister of Justice.
Yes.
the current Integrity Commission, the architecture of the current Integrity Commission, is as a result of Andrew Holness as the chairman of cabinet giving instructions or causing instructions to be followed that added a section of the original bill. And the section was to investigate unexplained wealth.
Oh, yes.
When it passed Parliament, Andrew Holness pop him collar, post-independent Prime Minister, far-reaching legislation that will strengthen governance and help in the fight against corruption.
Hallelujah.
He is the one that now carried the bill, the act, to the court for the court to
strike
deem
it. To strike it
that
out.
section unconstitutional. So whichever advice he's getting now to suggest that it is unconstitutional, was that advice not present when he inserted that section or caused that section to be inserted and debated in the Parliament and passed in the lower house and passed in the upper house and received the royal assent of King Charles through the local Jamaican Governor General, mind you? So what we have had over the last 110 going 111 months of the wholeness experimentation has been a practice in the habitual dissolution of good governance in terms of protocol, in terms of tradition, and in many cases now proven by the court in terms of actual law. The only thing that surprises me in this moment is that Dennis Strong is now the face, the official face of what is wrong with governance in Jamaica. He has proven himself to be a most corrupted individual. He has proven himself to be powerful.
So Raymond, you are blaming Dennis Strong for this?
Yes, I am.
How so? The man.
Because Rocky Mead, remember,
Yes, I remember Rocky Mead situation.
Rocky Mead to be the head of the civil service. And the protocol and the rules describe the quality, qualifications, and criteria that must be met for somebody to hold that office. Rocky Mead recognizing he did not meet the criteria, withdrew his name.
But I want to suggest to you, though, Raymond, that Rocky Mead, with his military training, gives him a level of principle and discipline that not every Jamaican possess.
Well, right now we're just talking about two Jamaicans. The example set by Rocky Mead and the example set by Dennis Strong. So you are correct. Rocky Mead is principled. Rocky Mead is disciplined. Therefore, Dennis Strong is unprincipled and Dennis Strong is undisciplined. He has therefore become the face of the most extreme example of corruption in the history of independent Jamaica. And that's a legacy.
What would you say to people? What would you say to people who are at the bars, dep on the corner right now, and I say, yo, Prime Minister put that man there to make certain say him dash him case. You said earlier that the technical director can decide which case to investigate and which not to. The Prime Minister has put him there so that his case coming from the Integrity Commission will not be investigated. What would you say to those people?
The people at the bar will be repeating what Dennis Strong himself said. When Dennis Strong gave those remarks that there was nothing to see here, overreach, making it seem as if the Integrity Commission was wasting time and being frivolous.
Yeah, 28 bank account and nothing.
Dennis Strong was basically saying, if I had that job and the investigation came to me, I would have sent it back.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing here.
He has put it this way. I'm trying very hard not to be controversial. If someone has been murdered and a name comes up as to who this main suspect in the murder case is, and the director of public prosecution or somebody in society said that I don't think that man was charged for the murder. I don't think such a case should go before the court. And then down the road, we hear that somebody now becomes the director of public prosecution. What confidence would you have for that director of public prosecution to impartially, professionally, objectively, and with ethics review the matter?
If you're just joining us, listeners and viewers, we are talking to Raymond Price, one of the PNP parliamentarian candidate going into the next election. Which constituency in St. Catherine you are again, Raymond?
East Central St. Catherine.
The candidate for East Central St. Catherine, and former member of parliament, used to be an MP from down there in Northeast St. Elizabeth. So we're talking to a former parliamentarian, somebody who understands the Constitution in Jamaica. Raymond, some people are saying that Dennis could recuse himself from the Prime Minister's case. How you respond to that?
Well, I reject that outright. I'm not saying it's a parallel, and I'm not trying to create parallels. The only parallel I have created and the only parallel I'm using is the Rocky Me decision to step away.
Yeah.
And when that job was trying to find him, and the Dennis Strong situation when the job found it.
Right.
However, a couple months ago, the Jamaica Labour Party, leader of government business in the Senate and leader of government business in the lower house, created, let me quote the Prime Minister, manufactured rage regarding the promotion of an individual who is fully qualified and was already employed at the Integrity Commission.
Oh, yes.
And they claimed that justice must not only be done, must be seen to be done.
Yes.
And said that the individual should not have been considered because the individual has been described as a friend of a known politician. Well, Andrew Holness is a known politician.
Oh, yeah.
And me not right before dawn a morning with nobody where is not my friend. And there are famous photographs about the place.
I saw that. They're riding out.
And the Prime Minister riding together.
This is a joke. This must be a joke.
It is a joke. And this is the thing that shocks me. I have heard commentary from Dennis Strong for 20 years. I have seen this person package himself as objective and ethical and a believer in integrity. And all of that has come to naught because he has made himself the face of the most corrupt development in the country's history since 1962.
Do you think the people of Jamaica are really looking at this or they care about this, Raymond?
Yes, they do, I tell you why I say that. The fact that it has been on the front pages, the fact that it is the subject of the Gleaner editorial today, the fact that it is the subject of the Observer editorial today, the fact that you are discussing it on your program today means that your audiences and all of the audiences of the other media products I have mentioned find it interesting. The person at the bar you just made mention of is talking about it.
Yes. Do you think this will have any effect on the soon come general election?
Yes, it will. It will have a serious impact going into the poll, it will have an impact in three ways. One, it presented the issue that caused the Prime Minister to use what will now become as I don't know if your listeners remember, and I didn't hear it myself, but I've often seen the clips and I've often seen reports about it. When Edward Siaga when he locked down the country,
tighter than a sardine tin. I remember it.
This is Holness's example of that. Labor rights must protest at their job, protest at the market. No, which job labor rights must protest at? Huh?
But
T get his grant. I'm employed at T get his grant merchandise, and I'm going to protest on my job. I'm employed at Bank of Nova Scotia. I'm going to protest at my job.
But isn't that dangerous?
I'm employed at Sentry Security as a security guard. I'm going to protest at my job. It's
Raymond,
such a stupid, violent statement.
Raymond, wasn't that a dangerous statement by the Prime Minister on Sunday night? Because by law, the Constitution gives you the right to protest. And you must make it public. You must get permission from the police. And if you make...
Prime Minister, when he was leader of the opposition, protested on several occasions in many different ways. This Prime Minister, when he was leader of the opposition, got himself in manufactured rage when Mrs. Simpson Miller, then Prime Minister, used the phrase enemy of the state. This Prime Minister was part of a party and an opposition that protested across Jamaica at the signing of the Petra-Carib Agreement.
At the signing of which agreement?
Petra-Carib Agreement.
Oh, with Venezuela, yeah.
With Venezuela and Cuba. This Prime Minister participated in protests on the University of the West Indies campus. And most recently, this Prime Minister participated in protests near the halfway to transportation center when he was wearing blue in counter-protest to Jamaicans for Justice, wearing black in protest against extrajudicial killing.
And he also protested by walking out of the parliament when he was government, since he been Prime Minister.
Oh, well, I didn't count that because there's nothing wrong if somebody decides to protest against themselves. So if you are the head of government and you're sitting in parliament and you walk out in protest, you're protesting yourself.
But the worrying for me is when you are sending your supporters out there, knowing that another protest is out there, to have a counter protest which could bring confrontation. How does that come? How does that come from a Prime Minister?
Yesterday's or Sunday's statement is not the first him do it.
Right.
The first him do it in recent memory was when Jamaicans for Justice was protesting against what they described as an unusually or maybe even unacceptable level of police fatal shooting. Right? Mm-hmm. And that wasn't strange to me, by the way, if I could just pivot for a minute.
Yeah.
When P.J. Patterson was Prime Minister, Jamaicans for Justice would often protest against what they considered unacceptable levels of police fatal shooting.
Right.
So they were doing what their mandate requires them to do. It wasn't a problem when PJ was the Prime Minister. They were not described as a terrorist organization when PJ was Prime Minister. This high-flung language and despotism has only emerged in popular usage in Jamaica under this current Holness administration.
Is there any sign of arrogance by the government?
Arrogance is one thing, but maybe I waste so much time studying the meaning of words. Arrogance is one thing, and it's a human condition to be arrogant. It's how you control or display that is of moment. But this is not arrogance, or it's not arrogance alone.
Is what?
This is despotism.
Is what? Despotism?
Despotism. An individual who has found themselves with power, who takes steps to ensure that that power is theirs personally and absolutely, and if you don't mind, sharp, permanently. We've had that in the region before.
So that not name dictatorship.
There you go. With people like Jean-Claude Duvalier.
Yeah. My way or the highway.
Yeah.
Raymond, finally, before I let you go, Dennis Chung is in the chair now. A lot of people in the chat room asking the same question, and I've been shunning them. If the PNP form the next government, or should I say, when the PNP form the next government, Dennis Chung at the head of the FID, what steps can be taken? Can he be removed? What you have to do? Buy out the contract? What?
You know, let me tell you something. What you mean buy out the contract, like when Bruce Golding appointed as governor of the Bank of Jamaica while Latty Bodier was still governor of the Bank of Jamaica, and both of them were collecting their exact same salaries because both of them were basically governors of the Bank of Jamaica simultaneously.
Talk to me, and like how we have 3 permanent secretaries in one ministry.
Well, there you go. And in fairness to Babsy, in her inimical style and her comedic way, at the church service launching the National Labour Workers Week, she says that so important is my ministry that it needs 2 permanent secretaries. And the congregation, myself included, laughed. But it was jocular.
Yeah.
I think Dennis Strong will discover how uncomfortable it is falling on Holiness sword.
Oh, Lord.
And he will ultimately regather some wisdom, because wisdom has obviously escaped him on this matter. And he will withdraw from the post. It's interesting to see the ruling he will attempt to do regarding the Prime Minister's request that the Integrity Commission certify his declaration. And before anybody said the Prime Minister never requested that, the Prime Minister has gone to the court requesting from his lawyers that the court mandate the Integrity Commission to certify his declaration.
And the court has already ruled on that.
Right. And the Integrity Commission cannot certify declarations. It referred to the Financial Investigation Division for an investigation.
Right.
So if we know here that the first thing Dennis Strong did was to conclude that the investigation is at an end as to the Prime Minister's financial declaration, then long shall he live in ignominy. He will not. Let me tell you something now. Shame and a load, but it makes it true. Even the photograph of Dennis sitting around that desk. For those of us who know Dennis,
no, say never him that. That was not him.
Shame.
Yeah, man. I saw it too. I looked at it and I said, "This is not Dennis Strong." No.
Yeah, man. He looked hollow. He looked dejected.
Looked
pale.
He
looked embarrassed. He looked ashamed.
Yeah. Finally,
it looked like we would have looked at Georges if we do an exam and get an F.
Finally, a lot of laborites stole this program. Them follow it, and
yes,
some of them call me from weekend and I said, "Boy, I nah say nothing upon that one here, you know. Me I left this alone." And I said to them, "Why you leaving it alone?" And I said, "Boy, it not look good." What would you say to supporters of the Jamaican Labour Party who have a conscience, who have some level of integrity and decency? What would you say to them about this as you go?
They should rescue the Jamaica they plan to choose by putting their ex beside head on election day.
Raymond Price, I want to thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, Sir Colin.
Blessings, my brother. Raymond Price, thank him for coming on this evening. You heard it. And for those of you who have never heard Dennis Strong talking about the Integrity Commission report, I want to go there. I want to go to that clip right now. Dennis Strong talking about the Integrity Commission.
I don't think it's irregular to have 28 bank accounts. In fact, I can tell you, my experience is that if you go into several private sector businesses, you'll find that they have a multitude of bank accounts. Some of them inactive, some of them they're using, but people own bank accounts for specific purposes. So it's not unusual for people to do multiple activities. If you're doing multiple activities, then obviously, one of the ways I find that people, especially non-accountants, try to reconcile their business is by having payments through different cash bank accounts. Accountants, for example, might have one account and then you reconcile and adjust between, but many people, it's not unusual for them to do that. So, I heard this story about, or this comment about the number of bank accounts that are out there, and the truth is that I think it's really detracting from what the real substance of the argument should be, which is, what is it that is going through the bank accounts and how much money is in there. Because if I have 28 bank accounts, for example, and I could have $2 million between them. Someone could have two bank accounts and have $500 million between two bank accounts, and that is a greater problem than my 28. So I don't think that the number of bank accounts is something that we really should focus on, because it really has no substance behind it. In fact, there are sometimes also when you go and do specific transactions with certain institutions, and they themselves will mandate that you open separate accounts. So therefore, it's not because of your own choosing why you want a new account, but they will say, listen, in order for you to do this product, right, or for you to do this investment or use this checking, this different company, I want another account, or I want two accounts attached to it. So, I hear the argument, but I think that the argument is really a detraction, for example, I think, from what the substantial situation should be, which is really the transaction itself. And, I'm trying to understand what is the investigation around the number of bank accounts. What are you going to achieve with that?
That was Dennis Strong. Kirk said rubbish. No labor right don't need to say that. Andrew never employed Dennis Strong directly. Never employ him directly, Kirk. But if the Prime Minister never want him, he couldn't get the job. Jobs like these goes, yes, through the Services Commission. But whoever is Prime Minister, choosing the Governor General, the Prime Minister have a say, choosing the Commissioner of Police, the Prime Minister, who is the Minister of Defense, have a major say, even though it comes through Services Commission. So don't fool yourself and behave like you're not a critical thinker. The IC's compromise. Why Stevens having drinks with Mark? Which Stevens? Which Stevens you're talking about? Let me tell you something. I asked Raymond about Dennis recusing himself from the Prime Minister case. But why would you put Dennis Strong in the position knowing that he has already been compromised as it relates to the IC report and the Prime Minister? Why would you put him in place? We're taking your calls at 804-7072, 305-549-7944. Did I mess up that number a while ago? I don't know if I messed up the foreign number a while ago. But 876 804-7072. Give us a call. Phone lines are open now. And those of you who have the number for Caribbean Radio HD, we're taking your calls on that line as well. Just trying to put my... Welcome to the Colin Bell Show. Good evening.
Yes, great to the brother. You know,
I'm good, Wagwan.
Rastafari and God, man. I just want to tell Jamaican people that just be humble, man, because the monkey can climb and the more get exposed. You know, Andrew Wallace a seek a war and him never get it. You know what I mean? And him apply for chief election and him try to escape. But you can't escape from man, but you can't escape from God. Tell Jamaican people just retaliate at the polls, man.
Retaliate at the polls.
Fight.
Yes. That is the place.
Man, retaliate at the polls.
Because I think the Prime Minister is very disrespectful when him call with bad mind, And one of the things I realize with members of the Jamaica Labour Party, they forget that they work for us. When Warmington diss me and call me ching, flee and fly, after me a pay boy, me employ boy, I call me ching, flee and fly. Boy out of order. That's how these people who we employ disrespect your boss.
Actually, I them bad mind because you are going to know. He must speak everything he speak for the last couple of days or so. Everything he speak about himself. But the people who follow him now realize what he's saying. So him really bad mind,
Yeah, man.
And the other night, me mentioned said the PNP are going like them have title for Jamaica, but him. I going like him have title for Jamaica.
Right, that's so because him did say I will never allow the PNP to take charge of this country. Him say so.
There you go. And when we're supposed to have a fair and free election, him try to be a dictator over Jamaica and Jamaica people. But the funny thing is, the people who follow him not understand him is a deceptor and the promises about. The other day again, him remind them say, we'll soon can live with no window on the door open.
Yeah, him come back with that.
People, them kind of thing,
him come back with that. Yes, him come back with that. And him also come, I find the clip. Brother.
These people, the people, me tell you, say the people, big up ABR TV anywhere she there in the world.
All
ABR,
right,
make everybody subscribe to her. The people them will follow this brother here or this man here. I don't know what it is, because the other day when I try to set the people them against them one another. If you watch him mouth when he must speak and talk about bad mind, look on him mouth always start look like shapeshifter lizard. Just look on him good when you watch the film.
All right.
Like
all right, so little more. No, the Prime Minister is really in a serious position. I think the Prime Minister finds himself with his back against the wall. When you are going to tell people to go out there, you know a protest is out there, and you're sending your people out there, what are you sending them out there for? Confrontation? No, man. Andrew, get a hold of yourself. Get a hold of yourself. You remember me that tell you no him tell Tony Rebel? No, not that clip. I want Showerman to call me. I have a question for Showerman. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Bell.
Yes, sir.
I'm the first caller, sir, on your program. I just called to find out.
Hold the line for me. Don't hang up. Hold on. 804-7072. Good evening. Colin Bell Show.
I'll go on, Richie.
Hold on, they will soon come back. Let me do that call first. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, I just called to find out if the opposition can take the government to court to withdraw Dennis Strong, sir.
Well, the lawyers are looking at it. You know, once the PNP take them to court, the PNP are going to beat them. So they're not going to court without the lawyers sit down and look at it and see that, yes, there is a case and the Constitution allows it. So they have not come to that decision as yet.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, my brother. 804-7072. Good evening.
Yes, my brother.
Wagwan, partner.
And
yeah, talk to me.
This Prime Minister a disgrace. Yeah, man. The Prime Minister is soft. Prime Minister soft. Him thin skin. Any time the Prime Minister, you get under his skin, you know. Him get arrogant.
Yeah.
You know, when time him I give a speech or him arrogant. When you take on him time and him get arrogant. All in the parliament when Marky G touching can, see him face start swell.
Yeah, man, and get up and come out.
Yeah, and him start killing teeth. So yeah, man, he's a man when you touch him can, he's a war, you know.
Yes, man.
War, man.
Him not believe so nobody if you talk to him, brother.
And that that's man.
You're doing things that are questionable and you don't expect to be questioned.
Man is a disgrace, man.
All right, my brother. Big up yourself.
All right, cool.
Yeah, man. 804-7072. Good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Evening, Colin. Evening.
Well, Marsh, I saw you out there yesterday morning and you take the headline. Well, go on.
You see, me always say, without we take to the street, the Prime Minister now go understand, you know.
Yeah.
So, since them go there, me definitely have to do this. After this.
Yeah, man, I
but
saw
let me
you.
tell you something. Yesterday, I learned that I shouldn't give up on labor rights. Not all of them are stupid.
Talk to me.
When I hear the Prime Minister Sunday night calling out the labor right them, you realize that none of them no go.
And then I hear Adka saying that it's Jamaicans the Prime Minister call out. Which part is Jamaicans?
Don't call that jackass name to me.
The man said labor rights. All labor rights.
That's what the man said.
Yes.
But you see how some of them guys they lie and the labor right them are find them out.
Oh yes.
You know why that little lane, that little road below where the protest take place, you know why some JLP was there?
Talk to me.
That little spot is a JLP spot, you know.
Yeah.
Right now that lane, I think it's Campbell, something another, you know. Lane or road, you know. But it's a JLP area. So them people just come out on the lane out this and they not give no trouble. Them just out and jeer and, you know, make them little thing and go back in. Not a trouble. If you look when the Prime Minister did call them out the night down a Montego Bay, you see some people sit down at the front row, you could have looked on the people them face.
Some people were stiff.
Yes, and they realize we can't believe this.
Like
this is what
serious?
they do.
What is the Prime Minister do?
Yes, you know, because they know it's wrong. Hey, even shower man, you know what some listen shower man? You know what shower man knows no foolishness are going, but me can understand.
Shower man are smart, you. But I want to call me this evening.
He's going to come around. But the Prime Minister now score own goal again.
Yeah?
He score upon himself because nobody no listen to him. He couldn't get nobody out.
Let me tell you what I am happy for. Jamaican people have passed confrontation in politics.
Past that.
We passed confrontation in our politics.
We passed that.
Yeah, man.
We passed that.
No
man.
fighting around here. Bob Marley told us, you know. We see them fighting for power, but they know not the hour. So they're bribing with their guns, spare parts, and money, trying to belittle our integrity. They say what we know is just what they teach us. But we are so ignorant that every time they try to reach us through political strategy, they keep us hungry. And when you want to get some food, your brother got to be your enemy. Jamaicans, do not let them ambush you in the night.
So. But look at it. Look at this, Colin. When the Chief Justice get the position, you remember what Andrew was to put him on probation.
Yeah, man. Raymond Price just talked about it a while ago.
He talked about it a while ago.
Yes.
So one day more put Dennis Strong on probation.
Well, he must be on probation. Well, as Raymond said a while ago, you know, Dennis never find this job here, you know. This job here find Dennis.
The job find him, yes.
Yes,
the job find him.
yes.
But, you know, and really, you know.
It's ugly, man. It's ugly.
And you talk about a lady named Nadine Spence.
Oh,
you
God.
You have to stop listening to her, you know. Nadine Spence, not because we share different opinion. Nadine Spence, and you have this other half with when him George Davis. That Georgia George Davis. When him George
Whatever,
George.
no, leave him. Whatever his name.
Yeah, whatever.
I heard him give a report the other day. I heard the pain in him. I don't know if you hear the nationwide poll, the one that says 51% of Jamaicans say no third term for the GLP. You hear that one? Yes, man. There's one out there. Yeah, man.
It's just now that me know, so me not listen to them anymore, you know. Yeah, it make me know me not listen to them anymore. It's bad, you know, man. It is really, really bad. Really bad. And the people not listening to them anymore. And it's time they do understand this now. You know? It's bad, man. Mr. Prime Minister, you can't get it low. When they talk about, you realize every time this one and Marlon Morgan talks, how much percent in crime down. Let me say something to you. You hear, sir? You know business more than me. You see, when the thing reaches its highest peak, you know what it is going to do?
Don't fall.
It coming like you throw a stone in this. You throw a stone vertical. You see when it reaches highest peak.
Now come down fast.
It come back down fast.
Yeah,
now, when you talk about reduction in crime, if it is what
Marsh, hold the line for me, Marsh. Marsh, hold on for me. 305-654-7944. Caribbean Radio, good evening.
Our brother girl just a big dirty PNP upon him station. Me a lock you up. Where?
Where you come from? You don't see dirt pan you. Hey, she don't see the dirt pan her. Marshy. Marsh.
Yes.
Me I hear you, man. The dirt pan. One lady just called say, where brother girl get this a big dirty PNP from? So the dirt pan her and she never see it. See show man ya. Whoa, hold on the Marshy. Show man.
Show.
Turn off the radio in the background, man. Turn off the TV. Mute the TV, because I have something to ask you. I have something to ask you, shower man.
Yo.
Yeah, man. What on?
You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. You hear me?
Yes, shower man. May I hear you?
Tell your friend Marsh, you say. Tell your friend Marsh, you say the third term low down waiting. You could have fly high, fly low.
I have a question.
I'm dead in this.
I have a question for you.
So you know, if you ask me, I look at now. Alright.
Yeah, man.
To all the dead, they will not be going down this today.
Marsh, shower man.
So little cripple man where to go sit down and wait for pension. And John Jordan, them man, who be going to sit over there walking to go to drop on them face.
Yeah, man.
Peter Philip idiot, you know, after Mark Bolin and Peter Bunting sink him down, he still have come out and chat for them. If you go sit down and wait for him pension.
Shower man.
What you are saying now?
Them man.
Listen, you are Marsh.
Hold on, man.
Talk to me where you got.
You see, all of them man the way I talk about, they are patriotic Jamaicans. And they know what it means to water down the FID so that the world put us back on the blacklist and the grey list. But you me have to ask you. Suppose you're going to an area.
What kind of FID?
Hold on, man. Let me ask you this now. Suppose you're going to an area and you set up a business, right? And you decide, say, you're going to employ a young lady. But everybody asks about her, you hear them say, she a thief, you know. And you say to them, say, then, if she a thief, our police not lock her up. And them say to you, say, police are look for her, but she a hide. You not still employ her? Sure, man.
No police, let me tell you, no police now look with Dennis Chung for that.
Me not talk about, me not call nobody name, man. You gonna Dennis Chung.
I thought coming. No police now look quick, I work Uno too.
Hold on, man.
Dennis Chung work with Porsche, he work with Peter Bunting, he work with Mark Bolin.
Sure, man. Me not ask you nothing about Dennis Chung. Me just ask you if you're going to an area, you set up a business, and a young lady come and look employment, And when you ask everybody in the community, them tell us say she a thief. Police a look for her. But they don't have the evidence. They might search. They might check her out. But everybody has said she a thief. You not still employ her?
I go run a severe pan for myself. I don't listen what people are telling me. I go run a more severe.
Then the survey you run pan around everybody I tell us say, yo, that girl let them say she a thief, you know, police are look for her. Police are investigate her. Everybody you check them and say, yeah, police are investigate her. The police them are investigate her. She under investigation. You that still employ her?
But look at somebody come and look a job from me. Somebody come and look a job from me.
Yeah.
All people are gonna know.
Then
you come to my office.
Then
so
anybody, then hold on.
People.
So when you employ somebody, you know, the background check. And the background check you do, you know, everybody where you link up and say, yo, that girl, yeah, Mary Jane, she had checked me for her work, you know, what you think? And I say, yo, you know, the police are investigating her for thief, brother.
Tell me the base where you come off and come straight,
me
man.
Say if you don't employ the girl.
Don't go around no corner. Come straight where you base off.
I ask you, would you still employ that girl?
Come straight in where you come. Don't go around no corner, no dodge.
You not answer me, sir, so little more.
You hear me?
Watch the program and you tell you more somebody answer that question.
Colin.
Yeah.
Colin.
Yes, sure, man.
I have one question for you, Colin.
Go on.
One question before you hang up. You hear me?
Yes.
Don't you like go for the MP down Portland?
Yes.
No, you like go get Anne-Marie Val?
Yes.
Why don't step here down and put the rest there?
Because some man down here need to support me. Some of the man them down here need to give me the support.
Then the rest support you and your band and the rest will come from there.
Why may I tell you?
Your band there, Colin.
Yeah.
And the rest will come from there, so they will go around you.
But I see a man them down here. My bridge, the man them with me and them live down here, born and grow down here. And some of them need to support me.
You see PMP them down there?
Yeah, man.
Huh?
Yeah, man.
All right. Go on do your program. Look at what I call you back.
All right, listen, me soon tell you why me ask the question. Because I want somebody from the Jamaica Labour Party to answer that question there for me. All right, Shawman. Big up yourself. Shawman a general, you know. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show. Good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Why you look like you're not ready for talk? You ready for talk now? 804-7072. This is the Colin Bell Show. We are live on the air at this time. Yeah, man, we're taking your calls on 876-804-7072. Good evening.
Yeah, Colin.
Yeah, Marshy.
Yeah, me just finish up the point.
Yeah, man.
That the question we asked our man, you have to ask one other question because that was too easy.
No,
I can't answer that.
Me I ask you the same question. You
that
going on?
It's as simple. That is simple. You could never employ such a person.
Okay, sir. All right. Show man a dodge him no answer car. You know want get catch. So him a dodge. But the question is, I mean just it's very simple. Anybody, you're going on an area, set up your business and you're saying that me going to employ people. So people are applying. You do your shortlist and you're doing your background check. Somebody with an impressive resume. And you do your background check and everybody you check, them say, yo, them say that girl they a thief, you know. So me I say, why she not at jail or why police not arrest her? No, police are investigate her. She under investigation because them say she a thief. So the police them do them work. Would you employ that person?
Could never. The answer to that is straight no.
All right, continue with your point.
Yes, when Marlon all the while them come out, and the Prime Minister too, and some of them surrogate come out and say crime done by 45%.
Yeah.
That is good. We are glad for that. We're glad for it.
Well, I have questions about it because there's still the matter of this 490 bodies up to February, and I guess there might be more now. What happened to those bodies? Have the autopsies been done?
But listen, this other side of it.
Talk to me.
How much the crime go up since Andrew Wellness and the GLP party come into power?
Over
Because,
25%.
Listen, you say if it was 45%, if it was 45% down from where they come and saw it, it would be a different Sankey. They would have something to talk about.
It's 45% over last year.
Yeah, right. The crime goes up on the Andrew Wellness, up, right? And they only bring it back down to where they say it is. No. It's after them one figure them a fight, you know.
At the end of December last year, 2024, 12,456 Jamaicans were murdered under Andrew Wellness watch. And still, some of those dead bodies that I just spoke of have not been determined because the 440, the 490 is coming from November last year. Yeah? So, since 2016, murders up 25%.
So what's the talk? What them attack? We glad fear to the figure down. Whether them a tell lie or not. But we out there. And we know what we're going. So when they come with that, they not come with anything. That will come better. The poverty argument, it is a straight lie.
When will the GLP be ready to give interviews right across the board? When will the Prime Minister be ready to answer questions from real independent journalists and broadcasters?
Oh my God.
When will the Minister of Finance ready to answer questions? When will the Ministry of Health ready to come to my show?
The Minister of Finance, I'm sure, I'm confident that you can read more than Anne-Marie Vaz. I'm confident you can read more than the Mayor of Morant Bay. And even the Mayor of Portland. I'm confident that you can read more than them.
Don't run with the Minister of Finance.
But
The Minister of Finance is the Minister of Finance is well educated. Don't play.
Yes, I will not make no joke about that.
Don't play.
But she can answer the question better than them people there.
I don't know about that. I'd love to interview her. I want to interview her.
And that's why they make sure them are run from a debate from now. But listen to me, before I go now here, sir.
Yeah.
The people of Jamaica answered the Prime Minister yesterday by not coming out. Them now want to hear nothing from him. And then the JLP people them, and well of them fool, well of them sensible, and well of them over the intelligent. And then was said damn nonsense the Prime Minister was talking.
We're done with political war. No more political war. Thank you, Jamaica.
No political war.
No political war around here. We're not killing each other for politics. Thank you,
no, kill nobody for politics.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Bless up yourself, sir.
Yeah, man. One love. 876-804-7072. 305-654-7944. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Yes, man. Good evening, Mr. Bellman.
Before you go any further, would you hire somebody that when you do your background check, you hear that they are under investigation for stealing by the police? Would you employ that person?
Say you don't act a liberal. I'm not a liberal. But
no, may I ask you?
No, I will never.
All right, go ahead.
All right. I'm living in now in Florida.
Okay.
But I'm from Jamaica, Barton, St. Catherine. So
yeah.
I tell them I'm coming from. So let me tell you something, Mr. Bell. Two things maybe the PNP now talk about when we don't like. When I was younger, and I'm about in my 10-year-old going to 12. There was a man in Barton named Foot. He's a laborer. Everybody knows that the man is a laborer.
Yeah.
When laborer are coming to the town, are coming to the area, Foot locking shop. When PNP are coming to the area, Foot opening shop.
Yeah.
Because the laborer used to go in the shop and order liquor and drink and not pay for.
Oh yeah, so then do them labor right party that?
Yes, I saw labor to do. Go in the shop and buy and take liquor and not pay for. All right, put that aside. If I am in a court and a gentleman, I see a man and the man said to me, say, yo, no, you go to prison before I go to the court. I when I go to court and see that man there, automatically a prison.
Yeah, if you see he might try the case, you're going to run out of court.
Before.
Because you know him going to eat your food.
Before me go to court, I'm see him in say a prison. I remember go to court in the city.
Yeah.
I be me automatically in prison.
Yes. Yes.
So I same thing with the government right now. So automatically that money in the government will be free. Have a good night, sir.
Blessings.
They are listening to the program.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Donovan, Shaka, is a 4 months period you just mentioned for the 490 bodies. Was any of those bodies counted in the year-end figure? No, and that's why I said to you, those are from November last year. The report came out February of this year. So from November to February, there's 490 bodies that the autopsy has not been done. And it is saying that the autopsy needs to be done to determine how many of those are murders, how many are accident, how many are natural death by natural causes. So that is something that we need sorted out. And then February of March, April, May, another 3 months have passed. How many bodies have not been, the autopsy have not been done for? So we have to ask these questions when we hear these figures come out. And we have to ask them based on what we are seeing from the administration and the PIOJ. Because we saw the PIOJ came out 2 weeks ago and tell us that poverty is down to 8.2% for 2023, when the Prime Minister on the 28th of March told us that 2023 poverty was at 12.3%. So we now know that somebody's lying. There are some suppression of figures so as to suit their election mandate. So we have to ask these questions because I keep telling them that this is the digital age. Analog politicians are going to get left. 804-7072. 305-654-7944. Those are the number to call. The 876-804 number, you can call me straight or you can call me on WhatsApp. Yes, I heard Marlene Malawu Fort saying that the government have not been able to deliver. But I have a clip here where I want to listen to, I want to listen to this. Listen this.
Jamaicans are split down the middle on whether the government deserves a third term in office. That's according to the latest nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools. 50.3% of Jamaicans say the administration does not deserve a third term, while 49.7% say Holness and his team should be returned to office. George Davis reports.
The difference between those who say the Holness administration deserves the third term and those who say it doesn't is wafer thin. How thin? 0.6 percentage points. It's well within the pool's margin of error of plus or minus 2.3%. It means the country is evenly divided on the critical question. But for Labourites claiming the third term is loading, these numbers have to be too close for comfort. Most concerning for Labourites is the fact that there's been a slight decline in the number of voters who believe the Holness administration does indeed deserve a third term. That number has fallen from 50.1% in February to 49.7% in May. It's true that it's a fall-off of just 0.4%. That's well within the margin of error, but it's not the direction Labourites wanted to see the numbers headed into an election. 49.9% of voters said no to the prospect of a third term 3 months ago. That's moved up slightly to 50.3% in May. When gender is considered, 50% of women say no to a third term, while 49% of men say no. The numbers suggest it's shaping up to be a tight race. The pollsters say not everyone who believes or does not believe the government deserves a third term intends to vote. The question is, how does that then affect the party standings? The nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total.
So, when you hear nationwide I carry that, say it's not normal because they are saying that the GLP is leading by 4 points. But in this clip, they are saying that 51% of Jamaicans say no third term. 49 say yes. something no sound good. Caller, good evening.
Good evening, Colin. How are you doing?
Hey, what go on, partner?
There one.
Talk to me.
We need to talk about something on this Dennis thing.
Yes.
No, I can't believe that the Prime Minister is so stupid. And him display how stupid him is.
Talk to me.
You ever hear that the government call a demonstration against the opposition?
No, sir, I never hear that yet.
Well, Andrew do it.
But him call one against JFJ too.
Right. And he show up in vain. Because
so why him never show up yesterday?
Because him know say why him do stupid and him on the display the lowest level of stupidity.
Yes.
Him know, you know. And then now, remember I said before him even come out, he would get the idea what the crowd does like out there, and him here saying nobody not out there, so no make sense in go.
None of you people are never out there.
No.
So the people are now being called.
No, because what happened here, we clearly understand, you know, a lot of labor rights in Jamaica hear from them grandparents and them parents what happened in the 80s, you know.
Yes.
And they don't want to go back there, you know.
Not going back there in the name of Jesus Christ. We're not going back there.
Them don't want to go back there.
Not at all.
Because they realize exactly what they want to try to do to set up and create anarchy.
You think the Prime Minister losing him head?
Him never have none from morning.
Sure, you're the brother, you're the man. What you saying?
You have to understand Craven, you know. The man only think about himself, you know, or what him can do to protect himself, you know.
Talk
him
to
put
me.
Chung there.
Yeah.
And when Chung is put there, you know, Chung is put there to take care of him. And I have to understand the other thing, you know. Why they did everything to get by the DPP in position is to protect him. Remember, you know.
But the DPP is supposed to leave August, so it look like that's why I'm putting Dennis Strong, you know. So I'm look more protection.
Any decision made by the director of public prosecution cannot be challenged if you take out or if you retire, you know.
Yeah.
You can't challenge anything what you do, you know.
Once you do it, and gone.
Thank you. And you know, so you have to watch the case with Andrew Holness and the case with Rod Reed now and the 8th.
Lord have mercy. What we are going to do? What are we going to do?
We're in a predicament.
Trouble. Little more, brother.
Yeah, man, take it easy.
One love.
Cool.
We have a caller holding over here, so where's that call? We lost the call. 876-804-7072 Caribbean Radio. Good evening. Yeah, man. Melrose out of Mobile, Nicky Boo, Mavern, all of the people in the chat room over there. Caribbean Radio HD. Good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Yes, hello, Colin.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, Colin from California.
Welcome to the show, my brother.
Yeah, so two things, right?
Yes.
One, I want to ask a question. What no, right? Because, you know, they did that. We, you know, the people protest.
More
they
protests.
Continued. So
more protests gonna take place.
So, is there any legal mechanism to either put an injunction or turn it back?
The legal minds are looking at that. The party have a number of lawyers, a battery of lawyers, who are looking at that situation to see what legal avenue we have. So we haven't gotten a report from them as yet. But you know that if it is something that we can take to court, we'll be going to court.
Okay, that's good to hear because that's what I've been listening out for.
Right.
To see what kind of mechanism that we can put in place to turn that back.
We don't hear that yet.
Yeah. The next thing now is that I want to make a statement that when I was in the military, we have certain training procedures that we go through. One of them is clearing buildings. Mm-hmm. And one thing they always say is that when you're clearing that building, you may chase somebody to the roof. But once you're at the roof, you have to get ready for a dog fight. Because now that person run out of option and the animal side of their brain take over. They have no options. So get ready for a dog fight. And basically what I see happening to Andrew right now is that the animal side of his brain take over. He's in survival mode. He's cornered.
So his back is against the wall, so he might come at you now.
His back is against the wall, have nothing else to do.
So he might come at you.
The animals, and that's a very dangerous person.
Yes, very dangerous.
So Jamaica got to be careful.
And the people of Jamaica now, the labor rights got to be careful because he might send them down the wrong path.
Exactly.
So his leadership,
exactly. And that's the point I'm trying to make.
His leadership is now in question.
Yeah, because the other day all he have to say now is that, hey, look, I disagree with with what is being protested about, but I do recognize your right to peaceful protest. That's all he has to say.
All right, sir. Enough respect.
Yeah, man. Blessing.
I see somebody said I hear Dean Jackson Miller promoting constituency debate. What do you think about a debate between the candidates in Eastern Portland? And me, them a follow, brother. A long time I asked for it. A long time I have been saying, yeah, show man would have to call me back. Show man, may have a next question for you. But the constituency debate, I think every constituency should have a debate. So the person say, ask show man, if a man open a shop and him hear the man say anywhere him a work, him have to hustle. If you would have hire that man, would you hire a man like that in your shop, show a man? When him tell you say anywhere him work, him have to hustle. Now, I ask the question, would you employ somebody when you run the background check? They tell you that the person is under investigation by the police for stealing. Would you employ such a person? And there are some labor rights in the chat room. I'm going to call them out for me. Tell them to answer the question. If them have a business, and when them set up the business, getting application, they're doing background check, and they find a person who everybody them check about the person. They said that the person is under investigation by the police for stealing. Would you employ that person? I just heard Dean Jackson Miller. Oh, yeah, man. Me, I promote that long time. In fact, I interviewed Isaac Buchanan here, and I told him that if him don't want, if him run from Anne-Marie Vaz in a debate, me not voting for him. And anybody who run from the debate shouldn't get no vote. 786 machine. There will be no debate in East Portland. Hello, good evening.
Afternoon, Father Bell.
Wagwan party.
All right, manners. You ever watch a program named Hoarders?
Hold on, they don't move yet. Let me just say thanks to all the people over there at Caribbean Radio HD for joining us this evening and spending the time with us. Me hear somebody call me, say them all listen on Caribbean Radio, and them don't know where Brother Gary get this dirty PNP from. That PNP are clean. And we are clean people. And we not hide, we come openly and say, see we support the People's National Party. But we talk governance, we not talk bias, and we not tell lie. Whatever we talk on this show, Google it and check it. It is the truth as far as we understand. And if you come to us and say, Shaka, you said this, and it's not true, and we find out it's not true, we apologize and we withdraw it. So we come with the truth. Thank you over there at Caribbean Radio. Remember to check out my social media angle. It's Portland Spice TV at YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am at about 4,700 subscribers. I want to get to 500 subscribers. Please help me to get to 5,000 subscribers. Sorry, I'm at 4,700. So if you have not yet subscribed, I'm asking you to subscribe to the channel as we get up to 5,000 subscribers on our way to 10,000 subscribers. Thank you, Caribbean Radio HD. Big up on yourself. One love. Yes, caller, continue.
Yes, sir, Bell. You ever watch a program named Orders?
I think I see something like that.
When people pile up our rubbish.
Yeah, man, woolly power garbage.
This is basically what is happening with the Jamaica Labour Party now.
Oh,
so the Jamaica Labour Party is like a house filled with rubbish. Every move move, you unearth dirt.
Oh, Lord.
Right? And basically what is happening now, every card that the Prime Minister play at this time is opening a spotlight on him.
Yes.
People who are investigating are looking at criminal intent and basis what is happening with it.
Oh my God.
Every time he either makes an announcement or come out with something or try to deflect something, it open a wider scope of people looking into more things. You see, even the situation with this drill. They come out with they release the invoice. It open a broader scope. It open a broader scope.
It explodes up.
You know what I mean? And it implicate a whole lot more people. Right? And it's crazy. I don't know how people are literally throwing away the little reputation they have trying to save this man.
To save one man who reputation gone.
He's unsavable.
Yeah,
he's unsavable. But
you can't save him.
You see, network like this, you know, but because you know what I mean. If you watch like some crime documentaries, you know, like Pablo Escobar and how they fed state down John Gotti and those Gambino families, you know.
Well, let me tell you what is going to happen. Let me tell you what is going to happen. The next PNP administration is going to invest heavily in the culture and the creative industry. And we are going to make a mini-series out of this GLP administration. You hear me say? We are going to make a mini-series out of this GLP administration called the most corrupt administration in Jamaica.
I want to tell you, say it might be a several part series because
there's a mini series.
Remember,
yeah, man.
some
things
parts are supposed to be released from the CIA pertaining to in the 80s, 70s, and the 80s, you know.
Yeah, man. It's about 7 parts. It's going to have. It's a mini series, you know.
All right.
Yes.
All
man.
right.
All right, my brother.
But bless up yourself, Sir Bell.
One love.
Keep up the work.
All right, sir. No respect.
Yeah, manners.
Yeah, man. Portland Spice TV with them, all the people over Caribbean Radio, them gone. Want to tell them thanks for watching, for joining. Remember to join us tomorrow evening. And if you are watching right now and you have not yet subscribed to Portland Spice TV, please and thanks, click the subscription button. Click the thumbs up and like it. Click the notification bell that whenever we are on, you are on. Because this time is serious time. We not forget about the drill. So we see Dr. Alfred Dawes talking about the drill. And what him says that everything come to $12 million. $12 million, but the government paid. Or the government is to pay $31.5 million. And they buy the drill in pieces. What can go so? Me tell Andrew long time, say him should have called election already, you know. Because the longer I wait, the more things that come out. The more things that come out. And it is terrible that we have one administration from 2016 that have failed to curtail murders, failed to fix the road, failed to fix the bridges, and they are trying to do everything now in 3 months. So you suffer the people them for 9 years. And you're going to nice them up now for 3 months. And they must vote for you? What the hell can go so? Can go so? 876-804-7072. Call me straight. Call me on WhatsApp. Oh, my brother need a call me. Me call back Chris. Let me call back Chris. A long time I know you're mystical. You know. Where mystical? Where you there? With all of this, we are going mystical. Hello?
Good evening, Colin.
Chris,
how you doing?
What on, brother?
I want to make 2 short statements, Colin.
Go right ahead, sir. Chris, we lost you a while ago. Come again.
Have you ever gotten called up to go on jury duty?
Once, a long time ago.
Okay, so in the States, how it works, you go to the court, you get a summons, you go to the court, or a notice.
Right.
They ask you a couple of questions.
Yes.
Do you have any prejudice against black people, white people, whatever? There's a series of questions.
Yes.
If Dennis Strong went into that jury duty and did the survey, he would have been disqualified.
Mm-hmm.
Based on his statement. If he said to the judge, I think Andrew Holness' account is irrelevant in this case, then I strike him.
Yeah.
He could not sit on the jury.
Couldn't sit, no.
Could not sit on the jury because he came in with a prejudice point of view.
Exactly.
Ask anybody that live here, and I think it's the same thing because we both, I think it's English.
It's the same thing it's the same thing in Jamaica.
Yes.
It's
so the fact that people are talking, this guy is not, he cannot keep that job. He has to go.
But let me tell you who would move Dennis Strong in Jamaica. The prosecutor would remove Dennis Strong from the jury. Because remember now, both sides can remove you, you know.
Right.
So when the prosecutor looking at the doc and say Dennis Strong, and remember the statement where Dennis Strong made about the Prime Minister, I want to say, no, you have a vote so the Prime Minister not guilty. You can't sit on the case.
Exactly. Like another point I want to make before I get off. If you want to know how Andrew Holness' brain works, just look at how Trump operates.
Oh, Trump.
Self-enrichment.
Yes.
Look at the people who Trump put in the cabinet. Completely unqualified. But that's not why they're there. They're there because they're loyal to him.
Exactly. It's loyalty
and that is how,
about.
Yes, and that is how Andrew Holness operates. He don't want people who are, going to be fair and unbiased. He want people put in those positions to serve him.
Yes.
That's why I'm like Netanyahu and Ruto and Trump. Him call Trump the night when Trump win before the lady even concede. To congratulate him. That's him hero.
Oh, you know, say call Trump so early. Where you get that from? Where you get that from, Chris?
No, that call tweeted out.
Oh,
check it.
Him shut off a tweet fast.
Before the lady even conceded the election. And is a woman with Jamaican roots. So that tell you where his loyalty lies.
Oh, in real Trump. All right, Christopher,
Yeah.
pick up yourself.
All right, my boy.
One love. Portland Spice TV, we're live. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Down to Earth, Wagwan.
Wagwan, my boss.
My there, General, where I say?
I have to call and put in a few talk in the stack. I'm going to get the talk to put in a talk. No, what them situation that going on.
Talk to me.
Yeah, because you what happen now. Because some people say that the whole thing and the whole saying. Me hear everybody has say and everybody has say and everybody has say. But me just ask one question and I don't know if my question stupid. But me ask if this could have reached in front of a courthouse or a judge. Because I don't talk about when I'm really say out I'm out publicly, I talk about the procurement process. I know people know the procurement process is now. See? So you have a job for the years where people been getting. See? But them have to have some farmer, what you call it now?
Requirements.
Some farmer investigative experience.
Yeah.
Right? And you have a job like that where we get to find out so then turn down 2 people already. Or what SSP.
All right.
Them turn down 2 people already for the position. We have the security background where them are look for.
Yeah.
And them still turn them down. And then at the end of the day,
the last 3 hold on. The last 3 technical director of the FID, the last 3 of security background, investigative background. The last 3. There were some before that didn't have. And Robin Sykes is one of them. But Robin Sykes was an expert in investigating financial fraud coming from the Bank of Jamaica. And there was a lady before, but the lady never stayed long because she never had the experience. But the last 3 head of the FID have that investigative experience. So they are moving away from the norm.
What me I try to say to you now, the last 3 head that passed through the FID passed with investigative experience.
Yes.
The last 3 heads.
Right. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And then you put out the posts and have the posts up, yeah. And then at the end of the day, you refuse 2 people from the post because your friend never really have that substance to hold it.
So
and then when me ask the PNP should have carried that quote.
Hold on.
This year, why you minimize everything inside of it to fit your friend's suit?
And I said to a caller before that the PNP have some lawyers looking at it to see if it is something that they can get legal recourse on. So we have not decided where we're going with that.
That is a serious part of it, you know. To move the procurement process, you know. I remember say other people with the requirements that apply and never give them the job. And you move that away from it.
So the lawyers are looking at it. And then this man
just come jump up like a tree card.
Are them unpick him? Raymond Price said the job find him and never him find that job here. Is the job find him?
Let me say something to you. The campaign that I eat that in a brother. And let me say something to you. I want thing make me deal with PNP party, you know, because them not deal with dunce. You hear that? And me can tell you this, Damian Crawford tell them, say, I want thing beat them in a life. At back of the class in a school, that's why they don't read far. I told them thief if they didn't have education, Jamaica don't have nothing. And Jamaica wouldn't know where to go, because they were too bright.
All right, sir. No respect.
Yeah, man, that's right, man. The thing is, before you cut me off, the thing is, the man makes some speech, and me, they can tell you, say, if anybody, they thought that about Vice Cartel, before them to sit as Vice Cartel jury, it couldn't work.
Couldn't sit on it.
Because they couldn't sit on the panel. Vice Cartel lawyer wouldn't want them.
All right, sir.
Yeah, that. And the prosecutor wouldn't want you if you speak the other way. So if you speak one way, Vice Cartel lawyer don't want you. If you speak the other way, the prosecutor don't want you. That's why people change Joe.
Yes, sir. You have that right.
All right. Pick up yourself, my boss, and go on to your good work.
Blessings. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Portland Spice TV, the Colin Bell Show. Hold on the Pringle. Go ahead, caller. Hello, good evening, Devon. Devon? Devon, go ahead. Hello, good evening. I have a call holding, and I want to give him the chance because he's been calling both phones, and I'm not hearing you. You're not saying a thing at all. You're not saying a thing. You call on 202-9201. Good evening. All right, you're not talking to me. Pringle.
Yeah.
Wagwan.
Tell me something now. The PNP are looking to get international observers for the election.
Definitely, yes.
Huh?
Yes, I can answer that straight off the bat. Yes, we are.
And tell me now. Well, what's the technical feel like? Look if they can bring this thing to court.
The responsibility of hiring rests with the Service Commission, right? And they are saying that the Service Commission did the hiring. No, them thing they're not thing where people just having at the back of them head. So you have to go back now, go read through the Constitution, read through the requirements for the FID, and see if there's a legal ground on which you can go to court on. Remember, PNP are not fool. We now go to court and lose, you know. If we go to court, we have to have standing. So we have to find out if there's any standing and who can take the matter to court as well.
Okay.
So the lawyers are studying that. And if it is possible, then it will definitely happen. If it doesn't happen, it means that we have not found any grounds on which we can take it to court.
Okay. So tell me, They never have no insight whatsoever that this man did not confirm for the job.
Well, guess what? You remember late last year, Peter Bunting came out and said, I think it was the State Department, the United States State Department, made a revelation that the FID is underfunded, understaffed, under-resourced, no proper leadership in place. You don't get, I mean, if you're not on the inside or somebody squeeze you, you would not have known.
Okay. So tell me now, your baby plan and what be your set up the other day about much people who want property for the place and so.
Go again. I didn't hear the first. I didn't hear your first part of that.
Oh, your baby?
My baby?
You know, a creative thing.
Oh, yeah.
With the land?
Yeah.
So what go on with that now?
Well, we have do some investigation on it, and one of the findings that I got is that from in the 60s, Navy Island was subdivided, but never really happened with it. So we got some information that people are intending on selling it as residential lots, and that's
before
why
the election. Before the election.
Well, I don't know if. Well, I hope them wait because we have to win the election. I ensure that it not happen. That the people of Jamaica benefit from Navy Island and not no 1 or 2 man.
What then can do? What they do before the election?
Well, let's see.
And then again, we must stop talking about no one talk to the Prime Minister now, because I think the Prime Minister want to do and you not care enough.
I know, but I want to ask him some questions. I have some questions I would love to ask the Prime Minister.
Look at him, that bossy, so stop asking.
Me not stop asking. Not stop.
The man not deal with nobody, man. The man.
Then you think him can go? You think him can go through the election and not get an interview and lose like dog?
All right. One thing I realize, he not talk so brilliant like before,
Because him nervous, he's not as confident.
Him a pick,
He's not as confident, brother. The confidence gone, the bro got gone, the clocks gone, the shine rub off. Cause a long time he might try turn it on to and it now come on,
Anyway.
Little more.
We're going to get some international observers.
We will.
That's something in the back of them head. We will consider. I'm going to have to look good for the fine print.
Yes.
For everything.
Yes, I agree with you.
And yes, you can't talk about when we win. I say if we win.
All right, brother. When we win. Little more.
All right.
Blessings. 876-804-7072. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Bell.
Yes, Sam. Go ahead.
What is the date for the Andrew Onis appeal court here, Andrew Onis IC?
It's what? It's November.
Yes.
It's October or November. It's either October or November.
December.
October or November, me remember. Not December.
Okay. Well, election when call till after that.
No go so.
All right, what I see.
Well,
secondly, Mr. Bell.
Yeah.
Don't matter who Dennis want to do. He cannot make no announcement until that case being heard by the appeal court.
Okay.
Can remember now, where the IC does not release any other statement to Parliament and the other 7 because the case with Andrew Warnes is before the court.
Well, that case doesn't stop them from doing the other reports. As I had said it here before, I did my investigation and I was told by senior attorney that if they want, they can still. It doesn't stop them, but some people would wait. So you may be right. They might be waiting on that, but there's nothing in law to stop them. All right, Sam, little more.
And the next thing, next thing. Nobody's know what the letter that the IC sent to the FID to find out on what money they must try to investigate. Because I believe that Andrew only find out that the letter, the manual letter to the ICC have something to do with foreign account. I believe.
I don't know. I don't know what in the letter either.
I believe that's why in change up the whole thing to put in somebody inside there who grants yes to him. Right?
All right, brother.
That's why I'm making him do it.
All right. Respect.
Yes, sir. All right. Yeah.
876-804-7072. Michael, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Yes. Hey, Colin. Oh, go on.
Madam.
So I have a question to ask, right?
Yeah, man.
So as it relates to Dennis Chung, they changed up the whole contract so they could actually accommodate him. Okay?
Yep.
So just saying for saying's sake, what happens if he goes in and then he states that the Prime Minister is not guilty of what he does, but then the PMP come into power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a case that they can reopen that whole case and check it, and if it finds out that he's covering for the Prime Minister, that he can be charged for treason?
I don't know. That's a serious argument. I would have to do my investigation. I don't know. I know that the DPP, if the DPP throw out a case, it done. I don't know about the head of the FID. But it's something that I promise I will ask. All right, sir?
All right, then, respect.
Yeah, man. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Sir Colin.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Yeah, just get home to get a piece site. A long time.
Talk to me.
So I want to ask you a question, right? This question I want to ask you. People like Nadine Spence and the rest of surrogates of the JP and the governing party, I wonder how history is going to treat them later on in life, because here what happened now. You realize that, look here, as I always say, only a fool believes in his own folly. The Prime Minister, when his speech he made on Sunday, so people are supposed to come out and demonstrate. You realize the Prime Minister did not say, we are going out. He's telling the people.
Yeah, it's every labor right. Said the labor rights they must go out.
Yeah, but he never said, we are going out, no, meaning say,
he will go to.
The Morgan and the senator and the ministers and all of them, and him now go out, no. Do you just imagine them that he and his minion went out, how it would look in the international media and in the Caribbean to see a governing party.
But the statement alone is bad, because the statement is inciting confrontation. How you make a statement like that as Prime Minister?
Yeah, but he's not watching that now. He's not watching that now. He's watching his own credibility in terms of, just imagine that he and his party went out there when the opposition is fighting against corruption and he do the reverse. Do you know how that will look in the Caribbean, in the international sphere of things? For no, sir, this Prime Minister is under investigation for illicit enrichment, and then he come out and fight against the same thing. You realize that he has not said anything about corruption in all his speech that he has been made.
Him stop talk about corruption, or if you talk about corruption, you want the man to go implicate himself? Eh?
So the question I'm asking myself, people like Nadine Spence, how them sit down? Because I tell you already now, you have some people with a long list of letters behind them name now. But them don't brilliant as the man with up on the street now.
Why
the man up on the street more than a lot of them now. I try
to get an interview from. I'm trying to get an interview from Nadine Spence. I'd love to have her on the show.
Really?
Yes.
You won't get the come on, man. Do better than that, man. You do better than that. There's no way you're gonna get an interview from those persons unless you're on Mouthpiece Radio.
Well,
you're talking too much. Look, you're talking too much truth. So there's no way.
I am trying, because I have questions I would love to ask. I ask very simple questions, you know. So nobody now have to run from my interviews.
These questions, look, these questions are valid. Let me tell you something. These people
hold on. My producer said to ask if the Prime Minister not carry himself go court.
Well, these people, that's what I'm trying to say to you now. These people come with sophistry. These people come with sophistry. Them talk all kind of gibberish to make it sound nice.
Yes.
Which is fake, which is false. So there is masses of, when I hear some of the people them talk, say, them not say nothing wrong with Dennis Chongo, ask themselves the question, what if their family was involved, them lose one of them family member, and when them go up on the jury, them see somebody who in the media, who up on the road, and say, I lie them I tell, and know so he's gonna be a part of the jury to put a not guilty verdict against them family. How them would have feel? Just imagine that.
Yeah, man.
You realize one time the American is doing the jury testing, they ask the person, do you know about this case? Do you talk about it?
It's the same thing in Jamaica, not just America. It's the same thing in Jamaica.
Okay.
Megawatt is giving an answer. Hold on before me call up. Megawatt is saying FID judgment can be reversed for various reasons, such as new evidence. I will check that with my advisors, my lawyers. I will ask them.
I said to you recently now, I want the PNP get a big majority in the parliament. And the reason why I say this thing, you know, you see a lot of these things that they are doing, the government party is doing right now. I want PNP to do the reverse, that some of these people, the Dennis Chung and some of these people, minions who follow these things illegal and illicitly, go to prison and to see if the Prime Minister and Joan is going to defend them in court. Look, I am sure that he's going to be covered with some protection of being a Prime Minister and all of these things. But some of these public servants, they won't have no standing at all now.
Well, we will see what we will see. We will see what we will see, my brother. Thanks for the call. Yeah, man. You're listening to the Colin Bell Show live on Portland Spice TV. If you have not yet subscribed, I'm asking you to subscribe to the channel. I'm also asking you to be a Portland Spice ambassador and share the channel to all the people in your contact. Ask them to subscribe to the channel and join us Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays as we come to you live right here on Portland Spice TV. Talking about governance in Jamaica. We talk politics, we talk religion, we talk sports. And boy, I may watch the West Indies match today, boy, I may have to just stop. Because West Indies now coming like a waste of time. Yeah, God Pitney, good evening.
Yeah, man, I was calling when Raymond was on. Is he gone?
Yeah, man, Raymond gone long time. Sorry about that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
So
I just wanted to voice my opinion.
Go ahead.
With Andrew and foolishness.
Yeah.
So I recognize that this bad man story that him pick up for the longest while, everything people bad man.
Yeah.
And I figure that's that same bad man put him in trouble, you know.
Well, you see, I diss him boss them because the people them when I call bad mind are work for them, you know. Everybody who is styling as bad mind, him work for them people. And then you imagine your staff are call you bad mind. The Prime Minister not a manners. Prime Minister need to learn some respect.
He was dragged up on Spanish Town Road, and the truth is that people who behave like Andrew is not coming from anywhere. And I'm not apologizing for that. It's very obvious that his upbringing is very, very poor. And he was grown in a broken home, a street boy. That's why he's so fierce and disrespectful. And the bad man, this bad man thing that he take up, it's characteristic of him. Because it's the bad man put him in trouble. In bad man, what other people have, and he must be rich.
Yes.
Not coming from anywhere.
Yeah.
And he must be rich. That's why he's in all of that trouble that he's in.
All right, McCall.
But I hope Jamaica are wise enough, and I hope they discipline him at the polls. Because I don't know when Jamaica get to this point, you know, where we can't look and see wrong and call it wrong, you know. It was never like this.
Yeah. All right, caller. No respect.
Andrew, get you. Yeah, man, bless up yourself. Take care of yourself.
One love.
And keep
804-7072. Good evening.
Colin,
yes.
One thing I know I want to say, this very strong thing, the boy is very disgraceful. But what me I said to you, it's like, if you notice the amount of people who numerate, that's a history now.
25,000.
History in Jamaica now. 24,000 something, nearly 25,000 something.
Yeah.
So what you think about that? PNP going to win the election with ease, man. No worry on yourself, man.
All right.
PNP going to take this one.
Well, we need to rescue Jamaica because what is happening in Jamaica right now can't continue.
Exactly. It can't continue. But don't worry on yourself, man. The young people, normally numeration areas on like 8,000 people when at a time when they numerate. And when 24,000 people numerate, you have to know that there's a lot of change that come. Change in Africa.
Yeah, man.
Africa.
And then we're calling on all the people who don't normally vote to come out and cast a vote this time. Yeah, man. All right.
But I think the people are going to rise up still. They're going to rise up.
All right,
Nothing,
my brother.
no, they're going to rise up.
And the more Andrew do, the more they're going to rise up.
Exactly. They're going to rise, man.
Yeah, man. Him taking the piss now.
Too much people never numerate in a history yet.
All right.
One time.
All right.
So PNP gone with it, man. Them gone with it. Just continue to keep on the work, man. Just keep on the good work, you know?
All right, sir. Enough respect.
Yeah, man. I'm big. Yeah, man. Big up yourself.
One love. So the producer say, all of the people who don't normally come out and vote, we're asking you to come out and vote for this election and vote for the People's National Party so that we can rescue Jamaica from this wicked and corrupt government, the most corrupt administration that this country has ever seen. Gangster, what you said? Them block you from over that place there. All right, my people. Hey, it has been a good evening. 6:30 Jamaica time, 7:30 in the US. And what that? Make that 12:30 over there in England. Thanks for listening, everybody. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace. Until we meet again tomorrow, Wednesday, at 4 p.m. Same time, same place on Portland Spice TV. God bless you all. The first program for June. How this now? Hello, good evening. Hello? Turn off the instrument in the background. You're getting a big delay. Hello, good evening.
Shaka Wagwan, evening.
Me there, man. Where I say?
Me there, man. Yo, the Prime Minister so irresponsible, man.
Yo, the man a lose him head, man.
Man lose him head for true, man.
Yeah,
The man desperate
it,
for power, you know, Shaka. He must say the PNP desperate, but him not sure desperation, you know.
We see them fighting for power, brother, and they know not the hour. We see them,
I can't believe so them on an insight labor right for go out there. So that gonna cause a confrontation. And that him a call for.
That's why the PNP has referred him to the political ombudsman because he has breached.
Oh, they did refer him to the ombudsman.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Them send a letter to the ombudsman.
Yeah, man. That's very irresponsible, man. For a prime minister, for the leader of the country, I do that.
Yeah, man.
He must know that violence in my insight when he do that.
Him lose it, man. He made gone.
And in a history, me never hear a prime minister come out and say people in bad mind, Shaka. Oh, this coming every prime minister, me know. Even if you hear people criticize them or whatever, me never hear a prime minister come out and say this yet.
This is arrogance personified, brother. The man is arrogant.
Yeah.
You work for me.
I never see this in the history of Jamaica.
The man reach Warmington stage now, brother. The man no better than Warmington. Warmington work for me. Me pay Warmington. And boy, I call me ching, flea and fly. Me pay the prime minister.
Yeah,
call me bad mind.
But Shaka. Me and you know say labor right arrogant from morning. I don't just know. I don't just know. But me I tell you say reach an extreme level of aloneness right now.
Yeah, man.
The man is so desperate, Shaka. Yo, the man I say how much the other side desperate for power, but he must show desperation more than even the other side.
Yeah, man. Then everything this prime minister talk.
The prime minister,
everything this prime minister talk is about himself. Anytime you hear him say something, check him background and see if I know him talk about. He constantly tells us about himself. Yeah, man.
The man really desperate, man. The man desperate, Shaka. Remember me tell you, it's like Me I watch a thing with him on the TV one day where I don't know, it was somewhere down the country where they have a conference or a meeting or something, and a lady attack, and when the man sit down, when you see the man facial expression, Shaka, I said, no man, this man an extreme pressure man.
When Marlene Malawu attack say, we still not deliver what we deliver. You can see him vex.
Right. You look at the facial expression?
Yeah, man, him vex, man.
Yeah, man, the man a screw straight. I say, yo, no man, this man, I want I was prime minister when it comes to character, you know.
Yeah, man, him lose it. All right, my brother, enough respect.
Lose it, man. Enough respect, man. They are listening.
All right, sir. All right, my brethren. All right, listeners and viewers, let's do it tomorrow. God bless you all. See you tomorrow. One love, everybody. Thanks for all the calls. Thanks to Raymond Price. And thanks to everybody else who joined us this evening. Tomorrow evening, we have another big show with another big guest. One love.